morning to you waking up to us on the West Nile Television Kokoliriko live show. My name is Farish Majid, and from wherever you are watching us from, I want to really welcome you on board. And I must say, it's a great pleasure right here in Arua City with a bit of rains and drizzles here and there, and still we are witnessing the rains. And I don't know how it is in the other parts of the world and really where you're watching us from. And I must say, you are most welcome to this edition of the Kokoliriko Live, and today is the 15th of February. The year is 2024, and that means we are just a day after Valentine's Day. And for those who received the flowers, who received the gifts, and I must really say congratulations to you. And for those who did not, it's also really not bad, because really you may not have received the flowers not because the person from whom you're expecting the flowers refused to give, but maybe things were just not good for them. But really it's also good for you to really understand them at times, and hopefully next time you will be able to really receive the flowers and the gifts. And really with that, we start off the day where so many things are going to be discussed here and there. Remember, we have updates on so many issues, where we also are going to be talking about the training of, that is, the women on the GROW project that did take place yesterday at Muni. And for the candidates, I must also say, most especially those who sat the UC exams last year and the senior 4 candidates now, I must tell them that they will be able to receive their results today according to the information we got from UNEB. And really, we are still following up on that. And we really, if you also want to know how you pass, tomorrow we shall be able to really also come and let you know how your schools performed and how maybe your loved ones also really did perform out there. But really with that, I want to welcome you on board. I hope you had a wonderful day. That is in terms of the Valentine's Day. Also, for those who have started practicing the Lent period, I must say it is quite good for you, because really you need to start observing the Lent period, because being holy, being a holy month of 40 days is quite good, because this may be the time when God is actually going to be listening to you. Because really, if you don't give God time, if you don't observe what God tells you, then definitely the pain also really goes back to you, because God may revenge and really do something that may also really not be good for you there. So I think it is always good for you to really observe these fasting periods. And for the Muslims, the Ramadan period is also upcoming. Very soon you will be able to head into the Ramadan period, where you will be able to solely fast for 30 days. And for the Christians, it will be 40 days. And for the Christians, I do understand it is called the Lent period, which actually started yesterday with the Ash Wednesday, where we did see Christian faithfuls having ashes placed on their foreheads, which was something I must say was quite good, because really for people to observe what God tells them, that is an indication that people are going back to God. Because really, if you not go back to God, definitely the repercussions may not be good. And really with that, we start off the day's discussions. And yesterday at about 7:30, we did witness something that was really quite awkward. And this was a bus belonging to Nile Star Bus Company that was really heading from Kampala to Arua, did actually get caught up by fire, where we did see the bus burning into ashes, and something that I must say was quite not good. But really I must also thank God. And just like me and everybody who was there, it was really alive, and we didn't see anybody losing lives, and the property in the bus was really removed out safely. And really that is why we must thank God. And the Nile Star bus registration number UBF 003Y was from that caught fire was from Arua and really burnt into ashes. That is ahead of Pakwach, that is in your district. And this happened yesterday, and the properties and the other lives were all safe. And the cause of the fire yesterday by press time was not yet established, and we are still looking up maybe the final communication from the bus company that may arise today, because as of yesterday they just made a confirmation of their bus that really had a tragic incident where it got burnt into ashes. And I must say that is quite regrettable there. But really we do appreciate, also thank God for they really saving the lives of the people and really the property also. And where we did see the wreckage of the bus, where we saw the whole head of the bus getting burnt. And that is the picture we did see yesterday after that incident. That was around maybe the evening time, which we actually also did get circulate on the various platforms. And I must say it is quite sad. And really we also thank, we also want to really mourn with them, because this period is not easy for them, and really for a bus company that recently lost its proprietor, and also really a few days ago lost the manager. And then definitely things are not right. But really we want to pray to God, let God also give them the courage and really also to heal out of this, because these are definitely testings of God life. And really I want to say it is a sad one, and really we are still also yet going to follow up on that, and that is something that we cannot exclude out, and we also really also want to mourn with them, because this is actually one of the bus companies in the region that is employing a number of youths from this region who are working as drivers, who are working as conductors, who are working as booking officers, who are working a lot, others are even surviving. If you move to Kampala, you'll be able to realize that most of these boys are actually surviving from these buses, and that is why when these buses are there, when such businesses are there, which are employing so many people and really also paying taxes, when something happens to them, definitely we also really need to talk to them, and maybe also if government can support such people, and really it will be quite good. And now moving on with that, as I did say yesterday, that UNEP will be able to release the UC exams today, and this is for the senior fours. I don't know how you're prepared to receive your results, but the information that we are getting is that the 2023 candidates who sat the exams last year will be able to really receive their exams results today. So what does that mean? How did your school perform? That is something that you need to really also follow up on. The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, has confirmed that the results for the 2023 UCE examinations will be released today on Thursday, and the results for at least 349,459 candidates who sat for the exams last year will be released today at State Lodge, Nakasero at 11 a.m. according to information from UNEB. And now that is something that we are yet following up on, and really out of this, how many have passed, and maybe how many first grades will be able to be coming from West Nile. That is something that we are yet following on, and really also the best candidate. When it comes tomorrow, we shall be able to sort of let you know maybe who exactly made it as the best candidate, and that definitely that is something that we will be able to sort of come and tell you about when it comes to these results. Remember the PLE results that were released recently, most of our schools did not perform very well, and really we do not hope for the same when it comes to the UCE, and we expect something better. That is something that we are following up, but we do not know because we haven't seen the results yet. But when it comes to tomorrow, definitely we shall be able to also really let you know maybe of how your schools perform. Remember, we have so many schools in West Nile. We have the traditional schools, we have the new schools that have come in place, we have the private schools that have also really emerged, and definitely just like maybe what happened in the PLE, we do not really want to see the same happening with the UCE. So we are yet following up until when the results will be able to be released. So the 2023 candidates who sat their results last year under the old curriculum, really now for those who have failed, I do not know, because recently some talks were going on for that is some exam, a special exam to be organized for those who will be able to really not make it through, to also really come and sit for these exams, because this was the last batch of the old curriculum, and now these candidates who are now in senior 4 are going to sit for exams under the new curriculum and under the new guidance. So I think there's something that needs to be done for those candidates who have not made it. Maybe there are options that they could also really engage in. And for instance, maybe if this exam, this special exam is organized, definitely that would also really help a lot when it comes to also giving maybe a second chance for those who did not make it. So I think that is something that we are yet following up on, and we shall be able to really also talk about it. This will be the second batch, remember, set of exams to be released by the board after the recently released primary leaving examinations. And after the UCE, very soon we're also expecting that is the USCE, that is for the A-level candidates who did sit for their senior 6 examinations last year. And yet we are yet following up on in terms of wanting to see how the region performs, because really once the region does very well, we're all proud, but once they really fail, in most cases people do not want to associate with failures, so they will not be quite good for us, because really if the candidates do very well, then definitely I must assure you that we as West Nilers are all going to be proud. But once they do not perform, definitely the results also will put us into shame. So I think there is need for us to work all together as stakeholders in terms of supporting our schools. But I don't know what you think, and really what you think, how best our schools can be supported, because really this has always been a great concern, where we're seeing the creme de la creme from this region, that last sample usually say, being taken away from this region to go and really study in the other parts of the regions of the country, where they actually give out the best results for those schools. And we leave our schools here to grapple with the poor academic performances, and that is why when the results are released, our schools do not perform very well. So how best can we support our schools? That is the question maybe I'm also posing to you as the viewer who is watching us right now. you can also really share your opinion and share your ideas on what you think best can be done to improve on the academic performance of the learners in this region. And now moving away from that, UNEB calls candidates to defend withheld PLE results. And remember, when results are released like this, usually we see cases of people's results being held for cases of malpractice for different reasons. And now we are seeing UNEB calling upon the candidates who sat their primary living examinations last year and their results were not released to really come on board to come and defend these results. Because when these results were released, I must say some of the candidates actually did not receive their results because their results were withheld for reasons I must say related to malpractice and other cases. So the Uganda National Examinations Board has asked candidates whose 2023 primary living examination results were held over alleged examination malpractice to appear before a tribunal hearing next week. So I think this is also giving them second chance for those maybe who feel that their results were withheld just in a manner that is not suitable, and really they did not appreciate this. Now it's time for them to actually come on board to defend their results. And about 7,494 cases of people who sat for the primary living examinations last year, and their results were released. That is on January, but some of the candidates are yet to receive their examinations, and these are actually still home, because at this time we are seeing those who received their results are now planning to really also join, that is secondary level. And really for those who did not receive their results, the panic is still on, and you must know how the panic is when it comes to receiving these results. And now for somebody whose results were said to be withheld last year, I must say the pressure is real, because some of these candidates now want to get their results, but now they do not have the chance, and they could have been waiting for their results to really come to them. And now we are seeing UNEB calling upon them to really come and defend, and in terms of really this is second chance to me, and to really come and defend, and if at all their results were held that is unfairly. So I think it is good. And now we are seeing also UNEB spokesperson Jennifer Kalule says pupils are scheduled to appear before a tribunal next week on a date which will be communicated to school heads. And this is the school heads whose results were withheld. However, she refused to disclose the number of candidates and schools to face the UNEB tribunal. And that means that out of that 74,000 pupils, more than that 739 cases, whose pupils and whose results were not released, and definitely the number has not yet been disclosed. And Kalule further explained that those who fail to defend themselves before the tribunal will have their results summarily cancelled and encouraged to resit the PLE examinations this year. And the head teacher who preferred anonymity at one of the schools affected in Nabweru, that is in Wakiso district, told papers that the PLE results will be, some of them were actually released because of small concerns which are confidential, but the issue is being held. And this is actually one of the affected head teachers of a school whose results were withheld. And the head teacher further advised all the affected parents to go to school for an update about their children's PLE results. And really, I must say that is where the pressure is. Usually when results are released like this, people really have cases, people really have pressure, people have, that is, panic to see to it that their schools, and this is in most cases to the private schools. I don't know why in most cases they have challenges when it comes to, that is, examination malpractice. And we're also seeing government schools also having the same challenges. And that is why when the results are released like this, people have panic, people have fear, people are always panicking. And that is one thing I must say is always there, causing fear among people. And now moving away from that, minister orders arrest of 4 businessmen over land grabbing. And that is also something that we are seeing on the papers here. And Lands Minister Judith Nabako has ordered arrest of 4 Iganga-based businessmen over allegedly grabbing government land housing Nakalama sub-county headquarters and the seed school in Nakalama village. According to Nakalama sub-county LC3 chairperson Hamidu Kawanguzi, the land in mention measures about 3.5 acres. Meanwhile, Nabakova said that she learned about this land row from area leaders who complained to her office that the district officials and land leaders are conniving with land grabbers to sell off the land belonging to government. That is why land also government is said to be planning to develop, and that is why we're seeing it quite unfortunate really for people to really also come on board to start that is claiming government land as their own property, which is quite unfair, because if people really continue to go on with grabbing these land cases, this land belonging to government, then definitely government projects that would need this land could also be hampered. So I think it also puts government at risk in terms of also wanting to purchase new land. Yet government land is there. So I think that is quite good for her to come on board to also ensure that the cases of land grabbing are reduced, and this fall now we expect them to be brought to book, if at all they were really doing that. And now she ordered the Iganga Resident District Commissioner to work with police to retrieve all documents from the other suspected land grabbers and make thorough investigation into the matter before March 11th, when they are expected to convene again for a public hearing. So I think we are yet following up on, and according to information we are seeing, it's alleged that Hajin Kobe initially had 4 acres of land on the sub-county land, and later acquired more 4 acres through sub-county chief, that is identified as Wakabi, and the area land officials who signed on the documents and gave him the land title. And Kawanguzi said they tried to drag the land grabbers to court of law, but lost the case. And this is quite unfortunate, because some of these cases are really quite bad. And you see somebody claiming that this land, which is known to be for government really, and you see the leaders conniving with these land grabbers just because of money or maybe other reasons, which is really quite unfortunate, because really you are, as a leader, you are there for cases of land. Remember, these cases of land grabbing are not only happening in that part of the district or maybe that part of the city, but we're seeing it happening all over. Even recently, where we did see also parts of the other parts of the country also complaining of the same. And now that means that people do not really fear encroaching on government land. People know once they do certain things here and there, they can be able to maneuver and beat the system, and that is why they get the courage and they do not have the fears when it comes to really grabbing certain of these certain government lands. And that is why we also really need to condemn this act from going on, because if it is not condemned, definitely we are going to be seeing government losing land, because now somebody has occupied the land title. But I believe if this land title was not genuinely acquired, it can't be cancelled, and I really also pray if that is done, then definitely it will be able to really also help so much, because really arresting these land grabbers alone to me is not enough. These chiefs who are conniving, maybe these political leaders who are also conniving with the chiefs to offer this land to these land grabbers, to maybe these businessmen, is something that needs to be done, because we are here, we're not addressing the root cause. We are dealing with maybe in terms of just the perpetrators, but what is the cause? Who are the real perpetrators is something that we're also excluding out here. And really I pray if those who also really connive to give out this land arrested, then definitely that would also really greatly stop these cases of land grabbing. And really with that, we are going to be running for a short commercial break, and when we return back, we still have lots more on the morning updates. My name is Farish Majid, and from wherever you are watching us from, I want to say thank you so much. But for now, allow me running for a short commercial breather, and when I return back, we shall be able to expound on more of these topics. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. AFCON, all 52 games live only on Star Times. Star Times brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023, live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your Star Times subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. Star Times, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023. West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Alright, welcome back from that short commercial break. This is still a Kokoliriko live show on West Nile TV, channel 0073 on Zuku, and also the other online platforms where you can be able to really stream us online from wherever you are and at any time. Remember, you can watch us just anytime from the comfort of any computer or phone to which you have access to the internet. All you need is have access to the internet, and you will be able to really access us at any time and in any part of the world. And really, that is the beauty of also the technological advancement that we are talking about. So really, I want to call upon each and all of you watching us from the rest of the parts of the world. And I do understand some of you watch us from parts of Europe, others watch us in the Middle East. And really, we very, very much appreciate you for taking time to really also understand of what is happening. And this is why the morning updates always comes in place to really also let you know of what is happening right from the region and to the international world at large. And that is why we usually come with topics here and there to sit with that. We let you know of what is also happening. And at times, what we do is we bring guests and experts to really also share knowledge about certain topics that we feel that you need to, as a viewer, to really also be part of and really also be in the know of. Because really, as West Nile Television, our #1 mandate remains to enlighten the region. And one way we are going to actually enlighten the region is to have topics that inform you. We're also there to educate and sensitize you about certain projects as well as also to entertain you, because these are parts of the things that we're supposed to do. And definitely with that, really, I want to appreciate each and all of you joining us right now. In case you're just joining us, I must say you are most welcome to the Kokoliriko live show on West Nile TV, channel 0073 on Zuku and online platforms. And really, we do appreciate you for taking your time and to be part of this show. And really, for those who have commented, I also see a comment from Nuclear Media here. And this is in relation to the topics that we started the discussions with. As in the first hour, we did talk about UCE results to be released today. We also talked about UNEB asking candidates whose results got withheld to really prepare to come and defend. And this is at a later date that we'll be able to be communicated next week. This is where for the PLE candidates and the directors of the schools whose results got withheld can actually really come on board to defend these results. And now we also did talk about land grabbing, where we did see 4 businessmen being arrested by Minister of Lands, Madam Judith Nabakova, upon really that is grabbing government land. And we did ask you what is happening, and somebody, maybe also an entity here called Nuclear Media, says land conflicts over government lands are rampant as a result of incompetent councils, since majority of them do not know their roles, challenged by education levels of the councillors. And that is what he thinks. And really, what do you think? Because really, if you look at cases of land grabbing, these remain very rampant, where you see sometimes councils approve. And really, we did see recently this happening even in Narua City, where it came to the issue of the telecommunication mast that was being erected without the notice of other stakeholders, where we did also see some of the leaders being arrested for issuing out the permission to really go on with this project, despite some people being informed here and there. And that is why I must say issues of people encroaching on government land is still very much on. And if there's something that needs to be done to address this, then definitely that would, at the end of the day, also improve on people's maybe security, and then it also gives security to government land, where people there will be perpetrators, more so those who would have the intentions of wanting to encroach on government land will be stopped and maybe also be pushed away. So I think that is something that is quite good. And we also expect maybe now this vote to be also brought to book, because really, if this is not done so, people would also really continue, because they will know nothing will be done to them. And now, leaving that aside, women entrepreneurs under the GROW project yesterday got trained, and this was at Moni University, where we did see a number of women entrepreneurs, both from the country, both from the region, and also those as part of the host refugees. We also are part, where we also did see the refugee women in business also being attracted for this stakeholder engagement, where they were trained on that is financial literacy ahead of these GROW funds that they will be able to be received. And for somebody who may be listening for maybe the word GROW for the very first time, I must tell you the GROW project is a government of Uganda 5-year project financed by International Development Agency under a grant finance arrangement of US dollars 217 million. The project development is to increase access to entrepreneurial services that enable female entrepreneurs to grow their enterprises, and is targeted in targeted locations including refugees and host districts. And this money is actually going to really help women who are doing something for themselves, and more so those women who are into small-scale businesses to really also be supported. And the government has put several initiatives in place, for instance, the PDM, the Myoga, which are yet to yield results because the impact yet is still very much minimal. And tomorrow, I must say, we look forward to have, very soon, we look forward to having one of the commercial officers to really come and tell us about the project, and then about the progress of these government projects that we are talking about. For instance, PDM, and really also the Myogas and the rest, because this is not the very first time we are seeing government actually striving to empower people, the masses financially, because we have over time had several interventions. For instance, we had, that is the youth livelihood, the Intandikwa, Bonaba Gagawale, and the rest, which are yet to see the results and also the impact being felt. Because in most cases, what we have actually come to notice is that people have diversion of these funds. Somebody actually draws up beautiful plans about beautiful projects, but at the end of the day, you see them misusing the monies, which is quite unfortunate. Because if you have to really look at the PDM, we have gotten to understand that people actually got the monies and used the monies for buying things that are not actually in relation to what their projects were saying. Where we see people buying clothes with this money, where we see people buying hoofers. Really, this is quite unfortunate. People buying mattresses, because we have seen this often. People actually moving from the banks, more so this, because you know them, these PDM beneficiaries, usually you know them because some of them were actually accessing the banks for the very first time, and you really give somebody 1 million, and this person in his entire or her entire life had never received this 1 million, and I think that is where maybe this government project actually is lacking the impact because of financial literacy knowledge. And really, this is something I must say has been lacking, because really you educate somebody, you sensitize them, but the person really fails to really grasp the aspect of financial literacy, which really becomes quite unfortunate. And that is why we are seeing these PDM beneficiaries and people who are seeking for these funds, once they receive the monies, really they go and really also use the monies for buying certain things that could have been in their need. Because really, I must say, these monies, and then these people were actually looking for these funds, and somebody was really in dire need of money for really buying certain things. And once they get this money, they forget that this money, which is a revolving fund, is really supposed to help them and really also empower them economically, such as through putting this money into businesses and to other projects. For instance, for people who are really in this sub-region, for some of the activities that they would actually be engaging in is through farming. And if somebody is actually engaged in farming, it's the person who would, at the end of the day, get this money and really pay it back. And now the GROW project, where we did see a lot of women raising concern here and there, where among the concerns some of these women raised included, actually, I must say, involvement into these government projects. And really they are saying these plans which are beautiful, and really government comes up with these nice initiatives to help them, but the planning is done by people who actually do not understand what is happening at the grassroots level. The planning actually is done at the offices at the top level, who do not really understand why this planning is coming to them. And yesterday, during the first phase, which is actually to train them, and which to me I feel is quite good, because financial literacy is very good, because some of these women are in business, and you may be able to really also see them diverting the funds if they're not well sensitized. So I think that was quite good, where we did have the minister, Assistant Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Grace Kuching Freedom, upon invitation from invitation from Ministry of Gender and Labour and Social Development, to really preside over as the chief guest in this function, actually calling upon the masses to stop politicizing government projects, because really it has come to the notice that people think this money government is giving out them in terms of PDM for campaigns, and now they have to eat the money, and because they know nothing can be done to them. And somebody was actually able also yesterday to ask the same question at Moni University, where this meeting for training these women entrepreneurs was taking place. Somebody asked, what if I do not pay this money back? What will be done to them? Then it means that the people's mindset is already in line to that. They think that getting this government money is to be consumed and nothing will be done to them. And I must say this is also a revolving fund which you have to really pay back, but in terms of loans, and which their agency, which the implementing partners say is not going to have an interest rate of not more than 10%. So I think that is quite good for these women to really also go and borrow this money, and such that they can really also support themselves economically. And the minister also really did advise these women entrepreneurs to get this money and prepare themselves and also be actively engaged, and really if they can have active participation in terms of really benefiting from this money, then definitely the livelihoods of the women definitely would also really be improved, so that they, at the end of the day, they will also really get something for themselves, and that is also quite good. So I think I want to really also join the minister in also echoing out my voice in saying that really when we are going to get these monies, let us put the money into proper use, because a woman who is empowered, definitely we know an empowered woman will not leave the home, because really women are really, we have seen women as breadwinners now, and they actually do things that men used to do, and we are seeing them doing better. And that is why women emancipation we are talking about is quite good, and to empower women economically is actually the way to go, and really to achieve the women emancipation and then economic empowerment of the women is the way to go, because without empowering a woman financially, or without empowering them with this literacy or maybe this knowledge, definitely women will be able to really lag behind, which could not be good, because really we are looking at women in the 21st century who are doing a lot. If you have to really look at what is even happening right from the leadership level, you see women doing a lot of good things, and you see them serving diligently, and that is why I must say it is quite good, and to join the minister also in saying active participation of these women into these government projects is the way to go. And remember, this project is being implemented by partners, which we do have, among which we do have, that is Office of the Prime Minister. We also have Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. We have United Nations High Commission for Refugees. We have Ministry of Local Government, and really Ministry of Tourism, Trade and Industry, and Makerere University Business School as an implementing partner. And remember, all this is going to play its own role. And if I talk about Makerere Business School, they are actually going to develop the model that is in terms of teaching the women about financial literacy. And we really, when we did see this planning that was being told the women actually did not receive the training very well. And this is in terms of the proposal that was being read to them, and really to see to that when these monies come and how they're going to access the monies. And really these women raised a lot of concern, and they say that the processes of really them actually getting these monies need to be shortened, because in most cases you get monies that you really need to sign and use the money quickly, and you start really also getting long lines, long queues of sign here, sign there, do this, do that, which makes the process become monotonous. And really at the end of the day, some women actually get demoralized. They feel that maybe at the end of the day they cannot continue looking out for this fund. So I think it is good to really join these women in terms of saying, let the process of accessing these funds be shortened, and also really the conditions need not to be stringent enough, because they are complaining about the so stringent relationship, maybe the stringent access to these funds, where they actually said for a person to qualify to get these monies, they need to have had the practicing license for about a year, and that is how they will be able to really access these monies. And these women who are in rural areas, who are women entrepreneurs, actually also did raise complaint about this. They said, for somebody who is there in the village and they do not know about the practicing license, and you're asking them about practicing license, which they do not know about, they're doing their businesses from the grassroots levels, they're doing their businesses right from the ground, they do not understand what is happening, and really also telling them to really start having the process of the licenses is going to make them get tired, and really also get them, also demoralize them. At the end of the day, if that is not addressed, then definitely the targeted group, which is the women who are in businesses, more so right from the small scale and medium enterprises, and also those who are doing large scale. And this is how they're going to be, that is supported in terms of getting these monies. And remember, the money is also going to be given to them in terms of how much and then how big their businesses are. And really that is why these women actually also did echo a lot of issues here and there. The queues were long, I must say. This is also show that the people had their discontent towards the process, and the lines were very much long. You will really see how each and every woman wants to echo out something. And for the very first time, I did see women actually echoing out their voices really very loudly, and I must say that is the way to go, because really as women, if you feel this, if you get discomfort about certain government projects, really to open up is the way to go, because if you keep quiet with that discontent that you are going through, definitely it will be able to really also affect your progress. And really it is better to open up so that the leaders can actually address certain of these roles, and maybe certain of these laws they can be able to also adjust here and there. And the women actually requested for the proposal to be readjusted, because they said when developing this proposal, they were not consulted, and this financial literacy was the way to go. And I must say it was quite good, because really for people not to have knowledge about these projects, then definitely they will misuse the money. And that is where they will be able to really not have the impact of this generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises, commonly abbreviated as the GROW project. From limiting it from that is getting the intended purpose, which is to empower the women economically. So I think empowering these women financially is the way to go, and really, if that is the case, if that is done so well, definitely that would also really at the end of the day empower the women whom we are targeting financially to really also get something for themselves, also earn and also change their livelihoods, because really I must say also people really to get the monies for themselves. More so women, an empowered woman, you know, definitely they will be able to really take care of the families. And some of these women entrepreneurs, I must say, are widows. Some of them are really also taking care of the families, and they're the breadwinners. And that is why supporting them is actually the way to go. And now moving away from that, judge's absence delays trial of socialite Sisi Papa and his wife. And that is also something that we are seeing here. The trial of jailed Kampala socialite and businessman Charles Olimu, commonly known as Sipapa, has been delayed by the High Court for a month now. Olimu is jointly charged with his wife, that is Shamira Rukia Nachiemba. On Wednesday, Sipapa appeared at the High Court for hearing of the case, in which they are facing 13 charges of aggregated robbery and also money laundering, and that is how they have been able to spend these months in jail. So I think Olimu is jointly charged with his wife, and after appearing, they were able not to really also see the judge, because the judge is out, and really the absence of the judge is now delaying that is court from hearing this case. However, their case was adjourned to March 11th after trial judge Michael Elubu was indisposed because he is handling another criminal session in Mukono, and that is something that we are yet following up on. Till when will they come out? That is something I do not know, but really they say justice delayed is justice denied, and we expect court really to come out very fastly to really handle this case. But really we have been also seeing the judiciary grappling with cases of few numbers of judicial officers. That is also over time being something there, and that is how we have been seeing the judiciary advocating for an increase in the number of judicial officers. That would at the end of the day also really improve on the judiciary, that will also at the end of the day improve on that is service delivery among the judiciary. So I think that is something that we are yet following up on. Meanwhile, prosecution indicated to court that they will be presenting a set of forensic exhibits and documents detailing the crime scene. And prosecutors recently told court that they have gathered sufficient evidence to pin Sipapa and his wife in regards to the alleged robbery of shillings 1.6 billion from a South Sudanese businessman identified as Jacob Arok Nulmayendit. And that is something, and that is the reason as to why they still continue to be in prison and really in detention. And we are still yet following up on, and we do not know when exactly court will be able to really make the final judgment on their case. And the state contends that they have evidence to prove that Sipapa, a businessman dealing in gold, cars, and promoter of musicians and Nachi by Design and others still at large on the night of August 29th of 2022, engaged in money laundering in Kampala. And now that is something that we are still following up on. Prosecution further alleges that the duo robbed one mall and made a thing of about 1.6 billion, 2 mobile phones and 7.5-inch flat screen and an Apple MacBook, among others, immediately before or after used the substance on a rock which rendered him unconscious. And that is one thing that we are yet following up on, and we do not know maybe when the final judgment will be made up over this matter. And the matter is yet in court, and the matter is yet to be followed up on, and we shall be able to really let you know how that issue proceeds, and final judgment and will be able to be made. And that is how we want to put also that discussion to a close. And really also, if you have anything maybe you feel that we need to discuss, also put forward on what we are discussing here. That is something that we are following up on. And moving away from that, Go face trial over fraud. Court tells Bitature and his wife, and really I don't know why couples are still battling that is cases. And now the Court of Appeal over fraud. These are the same cases, and that is in relation to maybe what the papers and his wife are battling. So the Court of Appeal has ordered businessman Patrick Bitature and his wife Carol Nzaro Bitature to face fraud trial in connection with the loan from South African firm Vantage Mezzanine Fund. So I think that is something that we are still following up on, and yet we are still going to be letting you know maybe how, and at the end of the day, how this case will be ended. While striking out the application by the businessman on February 2nd, Justice Helen Obura, who sat as a single judge, held that the application by the businessman was incompetent. Before her, Justice Obura reasoned that the Bitature's application was already taken over by events, hence nothing to save them. That is what the judicial official said. And Chief Magistrate, when she sanctioned this charge sheet and any attendant document within 5 business days from the date of the decision. So I think the couple is still facing charges, and the couple faces charges in the criminal private prosecution, which has since been overtaken by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and we are yet following up on that. And I must say that is still what we are going to be letting you know when the right time comes, and definitely we shall be able to also really let you know of how the case ends, because Bitature over time has been battling that case, and we expect maybe final justice for them. In case they are found guilty or innocent, that is the matter of case of court, because court is yet investigating on that matter, and the final judgment will be made by court, and we shall be able to sort of let you know of how it ends, hopefully. And now moving on from that, Uganda Muslim Supreme Council delegates seek government support to remove Mubaje from office. That is something I must say is also yet going on. And I must say the woes of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council when it comes to the leadership battles are not yet settled. And we are still seeing this going on and on and on, because some of the section of the leaders have been, that is pinning the head of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, that is Sheikh Ramadan Mubaje, of being involved in of corruption, that is in terms of selling government property. So I think that is something we are yet following up on. And a group of members belonging to the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council General Assembly has called upon the government of Uganda to prevent the embattled Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Mubaje Ramadan, from officially representing the Muslim faith. And the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council General Assembly serves as the highest decision-making body within the organization and holds the authority to appoint and dismiss the Mufti. And now now they are calling upon the government of Uganda to really ensure dismissing all the Mufti, also preventing the Mufti from conducting certain businesses, and we are also seeing that happening. Why can they maybe also use their supreme powers, which they are being invested in? So I think that is something we are following up on, and we do not know at what time maybe government can actually come to their rescue. And these delegates urge the government not to recognize any communications bearing signature on behalf of the Muslim, of him bearing the Muslim signature on behalf of the Muslims in Uganda, and in a letter addressed to the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja, and obtained by the Nile Post, and that is the members expressed concern over the Mufti's behavior, which they believe brings disgrace to the Islamic faith. And really that is something I must say is yet following up on, and that is how we are yet following up on a discussion of the embattled Mufti, and we do not know when this saga will be brought down. And we have over time seen these leaders conflicting amongst each other here and there, and some of the people have actually been saying this is as a result of the struggle for power, and I do not know how true that one is, and we are yet following up on that. We shall be able to really let you know when it comes to the right time. And Sheikh Semambo Temusuza, known for his exemplary leadership and prior service as the first deputy Mufti of Uganda, has been appointed as the acting Mufti. And really this is something that we are seeing over time. And somebody at one time you see him being said is appointed as the acting Mufti, and you're also seeing that at that time the other leaders also coming to really denounce him. I don't know how, maybe at what time the saga of, that is the Uganda Muslim Spring Council, the body that brings across the Muslims across this country together, also really seeing them settle down these cases, because really this is tearing upon the Muslim body that is in the country apart, because some of them will not be able to really also see this as quite good. So I think if the leaders really come together and really resolve this matter amicably, definitely that would also really be quite good, because once this issue is not addressed, definitely then people who actually subscribe to the Islamic faith in this country will be able to really look at these leaders as jokers. I must say this, because they will be able to really see these people as people who are just there because they want to really take over the positions, not necessarily to serve the interests of the Islamic faith. So I think that is something that will also really be not quite good there. And the delegates have also suspended, that is Dr. Lubega Muhammad Kisambira, from his position as the national chairperson of Uganda Muslim Spring Council, citing allegations of insufficient qualifications, incompetence, and abuse of office. And the decision to retire Mubaji and appoint Sheikh Samambo comes in response to various allegations of misconduct and abuse of office against, that is, Sheikh Mubaji. And I must say, really, we are seeing these things not really also very much yielding results. We are seeing the ordinary person who is actually there is actually seeing this issue. First of all, people have been looking at it from a perspective of struggle for power. Secondly, they are looking at it as very tribalistic, and that is something I must also say is not quite good, because you are there for the interests of the Islamic faith. And really, if to me, if these leaders needed to sit down and first of all resolve this issue indolently, that would be quite good. And if they were able to really put the differences that maybe in terms of the struggles aside, that, to me, at the end of the day, would really also ensure that this issue is brought down, because once this issue is not resolved, definitely we are yet seeing more of these chaotic scenes still continuing on, because this is not the very first time we are seeing chaotic scenes emerging from the Uganda Muslim Spring Council head offices, that is in Old Kampala, and we are also seeing this tearing among some Muslims. Now we are seeing other Muslims actually moving in from that body, crossing over to the Chibuli section, so which was actually disbanded. But we are still seeing it happening, and we are still seeing them working together. So I think there's need for the Muslim body, that is at Uganda Muslim Spring Council, now to come together to ensure that they actually draw proper means and really also draw and resolve this issue amicably. And remember, the delegates conference that sits at the Old Kampala is actually drawn from leaders from the various districts of the country, where at least 2 representatives are sent to be part of the National Delegates Conference. So I think that is something we are here to summarize the discussion with. And really, I want to thank you so much. And if, in case you're just joining us right now, I want to say you are most welcome on board. But we are running yet for another short commercial break. And when we return back, we shall be able to really pick up with the conversation there. This is still the morning updates on the Kokoliriko live show with me, Farish Majid. And I want to thank you so much for being part of this morning show. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. AFCON, all 52 games live only on Star Times. Star Times brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your Star Times subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. Star Times, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Alright, welcome back from that short commercial break. This is still the Kokoliriko morning updates on West Nile TV that starts your ways every Mondays to Fridays from 7 a.m. to the hour of 9 a.m. and at 9, that is when we pave way for the Elders and News team to also come and let you know of what is happening in the world of news, and that is why you need to be also part of that. For those who understand the language, and remember, this comes in the Liberty News, and that is how you'll be able to really understand the Luba language very well, and that is why you need to be part of the show. And remember, at midday we shall also be having the Lembangea news bulletin, that is for the Lulu speaking community, for also them to also get the news in the language that they best know, and that is the Lulu language. And at 7 p.m. that is when the Nilecast news bulletin in English will be able to sort of come through, and that is for those who speak the white man's language, and that is the English language, and the bare language that most of you say they know best, and that is how you will be able to really also access that news at about 7 p.m. and that is why you need to be part of that. And remember, we are still moving on. So many things are being said here and there. We did talk about Minister arresting 4 businessmen who are over grabbing government land. We also did talk about the tragic incident in which where one of the bus companies in West Nile, that is the Nile Star Bus Company, losing one of its buses to fire, really, which was quite bad. But I must say, hopefully and thankfully, we also thank God that no life was lost and the property in that bus was actually removed very well, safely. And we are yet now waiting for official communication from that company. And we also did talk about the PLE results for that we withheld for the candidates and the schools to really come on board and to defend their results. And that is something also we did talk about, not forgetting the UCE results that will be able to be released today at about 11 a.m. That is from Nakasero, where we shall be able to also really let you know of how the schools in West Nile have performed. And remember, last year's results were quite amazing, where we did see our schools improving, where we also did see the schools from West Nile trying their best to really improve and see to it that they do something and really also raise this flag of the region a little bit higher, and that is something that we did see last year. And we are also expecting it to be better this year, and that is something that we also did talk about. We are not forgetting, lastly, we also talked about the Uganda Muslim Spring Council saga, where the delegates are calling upon government to come to their rescue, and that is in terms of removing Mubaje from office, and that is something that we are yet also following up on. And we also talked about other issues that I cannot mention now because of time. And I must say that is how we started the discussion with that is how we started the discussion, and we are yet following up on, because we still have lots more to talk about. And also on papers, we are seeing a bag with 750 bullets recovered, that is in Amudat. And as joint security forces in Amudat district have seized the white bag containing 751 live ammunitions. And the Tuesday discovery at Kunyo village in Amdat marks a crucial developments in efforts to curb that is illegal exchange of firearms and ammunition in that is the region. So according to reports from the police, the recovery was facilitated by the vigilant actions of prison warder Silva Omongo. And I think such a leader, actually such an official, is one that deserves that is promotions, and really that is something that, because he has saved lives. And remember, that region of Karamoja has actually over time been battling cases of animal theft, cattle rustling, and really where we have seen a number of people lose their lives in terms of these people who steal these armed men who steal actually these animals from these farmers and also these cattle keepers. And that is something I must say has been over time affecting security and also jeopardizing security operations in that region. And at the time also we have seen security people losing their lives in terms of these errant and people who are not known. And these are people with guns, and these gunmen who have been killing the people who have been raiding this cattle. So I think that is something that we are talking about. And according to reports from police, the recovery was facilitated by the vigilant officer of prisons, and the prison warder identified as Silva Omongo while gathering firewood in the nearby bush. Omongo stumbled upon and abandoned white sack and promptly recovered his findings to authorities. And Karamoja Regional Police, that is spokesperson Michael Longole, said upon receiving the information, joint security forces swiftly responded to the scene, and an inquiry file has already been opened by police to investigate the circumstances surrounding this recovered ammunition. And I must say this is something a bit heroic, because if at all this prison warder was somebody who was bad, he would have actually taken this bag and keep the ammunition and start maybe using it for ill intentions of terrorizing the society here and there. But I must also really appreciate and thank him for having that courage of working together, because he understands that these things are not good. They are for him maybe to also go and do something bad. So the incidents highlight the ongoing efforts of security forces to combat the proliferation of illegal firearms and ammunition that is in Karamoja. The gun violence remains a pressing concern in Karamoja, and therefore calls for continued efforts to crack down on illegal firearms and enhance security measures to safeguard residents and prevent cattle raids. And that is something that we are yet following up on. And I must say, guns remain a big concern. And we are looking at how cattle raiders in Karamoja have been terrorizing that region. And for over a long period of time, we are talking about decades, centuries, Karamoja has been battling cases of illegal firearms. And we see efforts, at times, these security agencies coming to have crackdowns and where guns are recovered. And we also see sometimes people surrendering these firearms by themselves. But we are yet to see the impact and the final results, because these firearms continue to manifest and cases of gun killings continue to go on. What does that mean? It means that maybe the efforts of each and every leader in that area is not yet being felt. And that means that the security team that is in place, because if you move to this area, you will find that we have the security heavily deployed. In terms of the UPDF, we have the Uganda police, we have Uganda prisons, and all of them are in this region. But we are still seeing and hearing of cases of gun killings. And this is not only in Karamoja, and I must say cases of gun killings have also been witnessed in the other parts of the region and in the other regions of the country. For instance, central Uganda, where we have seen people really also being shot dead by unknown people. Also not forgetting northern Uganda, people doing business, where we have seen businessmen actually being killed. If you remember last year, we did see several of these cases happening, and really I must thank security now, because of the concerted efforts of them working together through the patrols, we have seen the cases of gun violence being reduced, and we have seen the cases reducing at this moment. And that is why we want to really thank and commend security forces for that joint operations, in terms of also wanting, in terms of them seeing to it that they address certain of these cases and really make a reduction in terms of reducing these cases. Because really once these are not addressed, definitely they will be able to really continue. And once they continue, definitely this affects also the final person who is actually there to receive a peace, who is supposed to be guided by peace, and then definitely that is not quite good. And really I must say it is not quite good, and really we want to also really call upon security agencies to really work together and ensure that they work towards bringing security to the people of the region. Now, with that, really we are putting that discussion to a close, and remember we are just remaining with some few minutes that would also really enable us, pave way for the elders and news team to really also come and prepare and let you know of what is happening in the world of news. And I can see Feta Emmanuel smartly dressed in his suits and preparing and jumping here and there to see to it that he also really comes and lets you know of what is happening in the world of news. And remember, Professor Feta is already, and I must say, preparing with his documents here and there, also organizing his facts to come on board and will also let you know in the language that you as a Lubera best needs not to miss, and that is the Luberative language. And really I want to put that discussion in relation to the recovery of the fire ammunitions to aside. And remember, Arua City also really recently, where we did see the Deputy Resident City Commissioner, Mr. Hamez Zamil, also coming out to say that they recovered an illegal gun within the city. And I must say, maybe these guns are still circulating amongst the communities, and that calls for an update, maybe in terms of police also really coming out to let the world know maybe of how best to act, because sometimes public may have knowledge and then could also tip police in terms of these bad people who have the guns, and they do not know how best to do it. But in most cases also people fear issues of guns. People have over time, in this, more so in this sub-region, when it comes to guns, people really have that fear. Even it becomes very difficult for people to really come and report to police that I've seen so and so with a gun. Maybe that neighbor of mine, I'm suspecting he could be able to have a gun, because sometimes also the criteria in which these people are being quizzed is also very much not good. So I think that is how public also at times has the fear of reporting. So I think there's need for that. And now moving away from that and to summarize the discussions with Pakwach District today, we'll be able to celebrate, commemorate the NRM Liberation Day. And remember, the Liberation Day was actually on the 26th of January, where we did see the national celebrations taken to Jinja, where the president actually came out and in honor of really these 44 these brave young men who came out to start off the struggle that has actually encouraged and let the government of today be in power, and that is how we are seeing the NRM Liberation Day taking place. And today they will be able to really take place in Pakwach, and we are expecting that is General Taban Idi Amin, the son to General Idi Amin, who is formerly the boss of ISO, to be part of also the celebration, and he is actually expected to be the chief guest. And we shall be able to really also let you know as our reporters already on the ground heading to that part of the region. And really we want to come to a close of today's discussion, and I must say it is a chilly weather with some bit of rains, and it's still raining in Aro City, and I don't know how it is in the other parts of the world. And really with that we come to a close of today's discussion, and I want to thank you so much for being part of the show, for you who really watched us right from the time we began until this hour of the morning. And I want to say a very good morning to you and a good day. We shall be able to come tomorrow for the final edition of the Kokoliriko live show for this week. And with that we come to a close of today's discussion as we pave way for the AOL as a news team to come through. Thank you so much.